On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, Advanced Live Streaming Techniques. And today's episode is made possible by freevideoeditor.co. If you're looking for a video editing program, but you don't want to spend the huge investment that you have to spend on Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro, well, we have an option that's completely free. It's freevideoeditor.co. Head on over there, download the Shotcut video editing software along with all of our goodies, and you'll be editing like a pro in minutes. So do that now. Head on over to freevideoeditor.co and leave off the last M for... I don't see any M's. Media. Leave off the last M for media at freevideoeditor.co. And with that,
hit that funky music, a white boy.
Shall we play the music? Are you all ready? All right,
I'm ready.
Here we go.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
It's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the video guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper on the Earn.show podcast network. And you know him, you love him. He's never harassed a starlet. Ray the video guy.
Not that you know of, anyway. I've not done it yet.
Yeah.
So, and I don't have any interns, so I think we're pretty clear over here. But you know what's funny, Steve? We're doing that introduction there, and for those of you who are listening to the podcast, you may not realize we do this live on Facebook Live, so you can actually watch behind the scenes. And I had put up the little graphic there that showed the episode number and whatnot during the song. And of course, we take the graphic down afterwards, and I'm still bobbing my head, but Steve stops.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He only bobs it. I think it's a flaw that he has. He only bobs his head when he thinks people can see him. When people can't see him, he stops.
I stop. But I'm lazy compared to you.
There we go. That's what it is. It's pure laziness.
Pure laziness.
That stops you from bobbing your head during that song.
I'm such a klutz that I can't look at myself bobbing my head. Otherwise, I'm just way off.
Yeah, it's like opposite, too. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? We're not here to talk about bobbing heads, though.
No.
We're here to talk about video, and more specifically, live video. And as I said, we actually do our show here live on Facebook. And, let's talk a little bit about some of the live programs that are out there. And by programs, I mean places like YouTube, places like Facebook, places like Instagram. Now it's going to be Vimeo. Vimeo actually purchased live stream, so now they're going to be doing, in fact, they already have started their live stream platform. And there's a bunch of other. Dailymotion has one, believe it or not. Nobody seems to know that exists, but it's there. And there are others out there as well. Twitch, for those of you that do video gaming, and there's others as well. But Twitter. Live video has, Twitter, they do it, Periscope. All of these things have one thing in common, and that is that you do your videos live. Now, the other thing they kind of have in common is they get a lot more attention by doing them live than when they do just a recorded video. So live video has a very important place in the world of marketing as well as content media, because you get the opportunity to be live in front of your audience. That means you can interact with them. You can have up-to-date, up-to-the-minute broadcasting. I mean, if you think about it, go back a few years ago, even the news wasn't live 24 hours a day. But with Facebook Live, with YouTube Live, with Instagram, and all these other live platforms, you can literally, as a normal, everyday person, be live on the air more than the news would have been just a couple of years ago. I mean, that's pretty darn incredible.
Sorry, didn't mean to step on you there. That's what's kind of radar on.
I think we kind of lost you there for a second, Steve. What happened?
Am I doing that thing again? Yeah, okay. I was Max Headroom.
Yeah, you were. You kind of were, and we lost your sound a little bit too. But
am I back?
You are back.
Wow, that was weird, wasn't it?
It was strange.
Maybe it's like Max Headroom and somebody was beaming something at the plate in my head.
It could be.
But anyhow, SportsCenter on ESPN, that's really hurt their ratings because people can get instant everything right now, especially live video.
You go back on like breaking news stories and things like that. years ago you had the news, it was on at 5 and 6, and then it was on at 11 at night, and that was pretty much all you had. You had your newspaper in the morning or in the afternoon, and if anything happened in the middle of the day, well, you had to wait till 5 o'clock to find out about it. And then, of course, the web came along, and the Drudge Report reported on the Monica Lewinsky thing and scooped all the major media outlets and became this household name overnight. And people realized the world was changing because now these websites could produce news articles faster than anybody else could report them on television. And then, of course, we fast forward to when Michael Jackson died, and somebody reported it on Twitter within seconds. And that kind of showed, hey, look, not only is the web and websites going to do this a lot faster than the traditional news media, but now you've got things like Twitter being able to do it almost instantaneously before even a website can write an article about it. So it's amazing the way that we've moved forward. And of course, live video is just the next logical step in that. And of course, how do we do live video? Well, for the average person, they grab their phone, they stick it in front of their face, they hit the live button, and they start talking. And that's a great start for doing live video. It certainly gets you in front of an audience, and it can really be a big boost to whatever you're trying to do online. However, there are some much better alternatives for more high quality video and for things that you can do that really will make a big difference in your marketing, make you look more professional, and can be used to help make more money in your business. And that's kind of what we're doing here when we record the live show because, again, if you're just listening to this, what we do this live on Facebook, but it looks very much like a traditional newscast. You've got me in one box, Steve in another, we got our names on the screen, we've got our logo, we got the date and time, and we've got a news crawler on the bottom telling you all the latest news going on in the video marketing world. Mm-hmm. And all of that is done through one simple software and broadcast to the world. And we can broadcast to Facebook, we can broadcast to YouTube, we can even broadcast to Instagram and Periscope and anywhere in between. We choose Facebook just because it's, in my opinion, it's the best live platform to instantly get in front of people right then and right now. I think YouTube may be a better platform for live video. It's a stronger platform, it's got more tools, it's got higher quality, but it doesn't have the same kind of instant audience that I see with Facebook where people jump right on. And that's why we kind of stick with Facebook for this. But, it's definitely something that has advanced very, very quickly because I think maybe a year and a half ago is when you started being able to do this kind of production on Facebook Live. Before that, it was stuck with your phone. And then they've kind of made these changes where you can do these more advanced streamings. And we actually were doing more advanced streamings even a little bit earlier than that by kind of doing some, we were hacking our way through this maze of Facebook Live and kind of getting some shows out there that were a little more advanced than that. But the way that this works essentially is you have to have a software, and instead of using your phone and broadcasting to Facebook, what's essentially happening is you're creating the video and then the software is acting similar to what your phone would be and just directly depositing that live video right into Facebook's servers. And it works extremely well. There's a lot of software that you can use to do this. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of those software packages and how you can use them to be able to do this. So in our case here, we're talking about doing true live shoots. Now, there are some softwares like BeLive, which does a great job with your phone. And I'm not sure if they actually do the more advanced desktop type stuff. I think they're specifically, phone-based, but they do some very nice phone-based videos where you can actually have multiple people, you can have lower thirds and things like that. So if you haven't heard of BeLive, check that out. It's a very good program for people trying to do, higher-end production live on the fly, and it does a really, really good job with that. But what we're talking about is from the desktop and from the studio. And what I mean by from the studio is, as I said, the software acts almost like your phone, just sending out that information to Facebook. Well, it doesn't matter what that source is that's coming into your computer before it goes out through that software. So whether you're using your phone and putting it to your computer, you're using a webcam, which is actually what we're doing right now, or if you're using an entire television studio setup, none of that makes any difference because in the end, it's all being brought into one piece of software, whatever that software is, and being put out. So there's no difference to Facebook between a giant studio production and somebody holding up their phone. It kind of works the exact same way. It's just a matter of what you're doing before that process of streaming it out to Facebook. And so you can do many, many things. Now, the software that we use, and I have to apologize to you PC folks, it's a Mac-only software, but it is a tremendous, tremendous tool. It's called Mimo Live, which stands for multi-in, multi-output. And it's actually been around longer than the Facebook live streaming has. You actually used to be able to stream to livestream.com, do recordings. It's essentially like a TV studio in a box. To me, this is pretty much the high end of what you can do with this. There are some more advanced tools out there that are much more expensive that you can use. For instance, NewTek, if you're not familiar with them, they're a very high-end video production tool maker. You know, they make different computer setups and boards and things like that. They have live streaming tools such as their Livecaster, which is very expensive. I mean, we're talking, $10,000 minimum just to purchase this product, and that will do some very advanced live streaming. We're talking like, full virtual studios with multiple cameras and high quality video, and it's a hardware-based system that really just does everything you could possibly imagine. But again, you're talking about $10,000 to $20,000 for a traditional setup there, which is beyond the means of most people, and even most businesses aren't going to spend that. Fortunately, with a program like Mimo Live, you're talking about a couple of $100, and a webcam, like we use a very nice webcam. It's a Logitech C920, and now they have the C930. Steve, is that what you use as well, the C920? Nice.
Yeah.
So it's a very high quality HD camera, and it does a pretty nice job. Is it, a broadcast quality camera? No, but for a webcam, it's about the closest you're going to get, and it does a very good job. On top of that, you can use things like your iPhones with Mimo Live. So I can use my iPhone remotely. I don't have to have it plugged in, and I can actually broadcast directly to the system and use that as a camera. I can also use traditional video cameras if I can connect them to the computer. In fact, there's a couple of great new products out that will actually allow you to take even a DSLR, which is traditionally very hard to get into a computer live, and it will actually transfer the video directly in as a webcam. So you could actually be using a full, really nice DSLR as your webcam and broadcast live out to the world.
Cool.
Now, the great thing about these softwares, especially with a program like Mimo Live or with the software from NewTek, is that it is like a TV studio. We can do things like we have here. We've got the two up with me and Steve. And of course, you can do all sorts of switching back and forth on different things. So for instance, while we're going with this, I can switch over and have it just be me on the screen. I can have it be Steve on the screen, both of us. All those types of things can be done directly in the software. The good thing about Mimo Live is that it really is like a studio in a box. And what I mean by that is all of the stuff that you'd see in our live streams, including like the lower thirds and the ticker tape that goes along the bottom, the date and time, the backgrounds, the dual boxes, and there's a whole bunch of other things that you can do as well. They're all done just with this one program. You just come in here, you turn on and off, you can switch between sources, you can do all sorts of fun stuff, and it works really, really well unless I happen to hit the button to shut it all down. And like I said, you can switch back and forth between different sources and kind of see exactly what's going on. And, believe it or not, folks, this is one of the fun things about this. The software even has the ability where if we wanted to do an entire weather forecast, it has built-in weather maps. And, you can do all sorts of things, tell people what the temperature is, and you can get readings from tools that tell you what temperature it is. I mean, it's impressive, all the different things that you can do there. Sports scores, you can bring people in live. For instance, right now, if we wanted to, we could actually bring in people who are watching the show. We could bring them into the show and actually have them live on camera. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do with this particular software. And again, this isn't the only one that does this, but it is a software that makes it very easy to do that. Now, the next logical step to that would be what we talked about earlier a bit, which is studio shooting. And Steve, you mentioned like the JV Zoo live show, which I helped them get that started. They actually handle it all themselves now, which is good. Saves me from having to stay late on a Wednesday. But, we set them all up. We did the first live shows. We got them all up and running. And now they've got a show that they do every week that is live, and it's a studio show. It really is a studio show, and that's one thing that you can do. And I've done that before, where, believe it or not, with this software, Mimo Live, and with some of the other ones, we can actually do live green screening right on the air. So I could stand in front of the green screen, change my background, and broadcast that live. Now, you need to have some powerful tools. You need to have good, strong internet, a powerful computer, but you can do all those things real time, and it does a really good job. We've done it a couple of times as a test. Unfortunately, in my studio here, the logistics with it just being me, and I don't have anybody here helping me out, a little tough for me to do that because I can't be over there and control the software, so I don't get to play with that very often. But it is something that you can do. You can do live green screening. You can do field reporting. So, for instance, somebody could have their iPhone with them, be out on the streets and interview somebody, and I can actually have that sent in the air right to us and actually do a live report from a reporter using an iPhone automatically live during a show. So if we ever want to do any of those man-on-the-street things during this show, we could certainly do that and have somebody out on the street talking to people and asking them crazy questions. And it works really, really well. We've played around with it quite a bit, and it does a very good job. And then, of course, we're talking about one other thing here, Steve, and that's you're in Omaha, I'm in outside of Atlanta, and yet we're able to do a live show back and forth in real time. And that's another thing that this tool does, is it actually has a real-time connection. It's a call-in and a software so that Steve just literally clicks a link, and that link pulls up his camera and his microphone and shows him what's going on the show, so he can see exactly what you do, and he can see himself, and he can do the show that way. And that's a really, really important tool. Now, that part of it is actually a new thing. Before that, we actually had to use Skype, which, again, the same thing. What you would do with Skype is you would do a video connection, and you would put that person into the window, and you would just kind of crop things so that that person fit into the window. Later on, we actually could do it with Zoom. So if you're not familiar with Zoom, Zoom.us is a great program that allows you to do live interviews in a dual screen. It also allows you to do things like webinars. And it's just a tremendous software. But that's another one, a high-quality video format where you could do the same thing and then bring the person into the window on a software like Mimo Live. Now, of course, it's not the only software that can do these kinds of things. As we mentioned, NewTek has some high-quality, very expensive ones that do some very advanced stuff. But on the other end, you have programs like Wirecast. Now, if you don't know what Wirecast is essentially a direct streaming tool. It doesn't have all the advanced features that we're talking about here, but you can do a lot of the same things. It's a little more difficult, and you have to kind of mess around with things, but you can still do the picture-in-pictures. You can still do the graphics. You can still do the pre-recorded videos and put them all together and stream them out to YouTube and Facebook and wherever else. And in fact, I believe the base version of Wirecast is still free, but I think the free one only goes to YouTube. It doesn't go to Facebook. If you want to go to Facebook as well and some of the other ones, you actually have to pay for the software, and it is actually a pretty expensive software. In fact, it's actually more expensive than Mimo Live and doesn't do a quarter of the things that Mimo Live does, but it's actually, I believe it's more expensive. But it is a very good software. It can definitely help you to get online, doing live streams, and having it look fairly decent and doing a nice little job with that. So definitely one worth checking out. Another tool that a lot of people use is OBS. Now, if you're not familiar with OBS, we actually talked about that as one of our free video tools. I think it was last week. And OBS is very similar to Wirecast. As a matter of fact, it pretty much is the same thing as Wirecast, in my opinion. I know some people that use Wirecast would disagree that there's other things it does, but for the most part, OBS is very, very similar to the feature set of Wirecast, works very similarly. Again, you can go into to OBS, which, by the way, you can get at obsproject.com. It's free. You download the OBS Studio, and you can actually choose different sources. So maybe it's your live webcam and then a graphic. And you can actually put them on the screen together. You can put them on top of each other as a picture-in-picture. You can switch between them. You can add graphics and text. It's not the most high-quality graphics and text built in, but you can do stuff in Photoshop and bring it in, and it can look very, very nice. And you can do a very nice live stream by doing that, by using OBS. So it's another great software for that. And it really helps you to make a very, very nice video presentation, much better than just holding up your phone. Now, when it comes to the actual production side of this, again, you're going to need to have a decent computer for a lot of this stuff. You need something that can actually push those pixels, that can really handle the different types of media that's coming in there. But if you have a computer that can handle that and you get the right equipment, you can broadcast directly from a studio with multiple cameras. For instance, in Mimo Live that we've got here, I can have multiple cameras in my studio out here, and I can switch back and forth between them. I can bring in the live guests. I can put the lower thirds, and it's more than just a live streaming tool. It's a production tool, so you can actually do recorded productions as well. But obviously, the strong suit is that you can do this live stuff, and it looks better than just using your phone. But it basically anything that you can do in a recording or an editing environment, you can do live if you have the right software and if you have the right hardware to be able to bring the cameras in. For instance, I talked about the C920, which we have here. I actually have another C920 right here. So I can actually, I don't have it hooked up right now, but I can normally actually switch between them and get two different shots. I can also bring in my main camera on the studio set here, and we can, really do some cool stuff. Now, there is one other option that's a little bit different that I want to talk about. And this is something that actually can be a lot of fun. In fact, I was watching the JV Zoo Live show last night, and I don't know if they did two versions or if they just used this, but they actually used a camera called the Mevo. Now, if you're not familiar with the Mevo, it's M-E-V-O. And what it is, actually, I've got one. It's actually over here, but I can't get it because I'm tethered to my headset here. But the Mevo actually is a little smaller than a can of soda, sized camera. And it's round. It looks like a little barrel. And what it does is it shoots in 4K and it broadcasts out directly to Facebook Live and to live stream. And it does so by using the camera and sending the information to your phone or to your iPad. And so what you do is you get your phone and you can see what's being shot on your phone, and you can make adjustments. You can move the camera. You can actually do fake, and I'm going to call it fake because that's kind of what it is. You can do fake multi-camera shots where you've got one big shot of two people on the set, and you can highlight each one of those people on there, and you can switch back and forth, and it'll be zoomed in on that person and then jump to the other person. You can also do slow zooms in and slow zooms out and all this other fun stuff that really makes the production look like a multi-camera environment, even though you're using just this one little tiny camera that's attached to your phone. You don't need a computer. You don't need, any kind of hardware. You just need this camera and, your finger to press on your phone, and that's it. And you can do a really, really nice job. You can also attach microphones to your phone so you can make sure that you're getting a nice recording. So it's a very cool little camera. It does a great job, and you can really have a lot of fun with it. And it takes away all of the technical aspects of having multiple cameras and using fancy software and all the other things that we do here. So it's a very, very cool little camera. I believe you can get it for, I want to say I bought it for about $300. And, you can still get it. You can check it out at Mevo.com. They used to advertise all over Facebook. I haven't seen them advertising much lately, but I do know that the JV Zoo Live show, they actually did that with the Mevo last night. So it's kind of cool to see. But very cool little tool that you can use in addition to your webcam or any other cameras. So that's about it when it comes to some of the advanced things we're doing with live streaming. Now, we've had a lot of people watching. We've had a lot of people commenting here. So if you have any questions about any of the stuff we talked about, be sure to ask us. Go to the Facebook Live, put a comment in the comment section, or send us an email. Visit us on one of our Facebook pages and just kind of find out everything that you need to know about live streaming. If you've got a tool that maybe we left out, because I'm sure we probably did, be sure to let us know about that, because we want to know as well, and maybe we just forgot, or maybe we don't even know about it. So it'd be your opportunity to contribute to the show by letting us know what you think we should have talked about that maybe we didn't. So Steve, what do you think of that?
Well, it's very good, and we also had a couple folks saying they missed a couple things, so we'll have the show notes in the comments section.
Absolutely, and of course we'll have a replay that's put together so it looks like we didn't
Yeah.
I didn't accidentally shut down the whole show. So.
Right.
So there you go. That's our live streaming show. You know, we've done a few of these live streaming shows, but I wanted to get more advanced with this because it really is going through a lot of changes right now. There's a lot of new things happening. They've already started to integrate the 360 videos into live streaming. So there's a lot of neat things going on. And it's only going to grow. It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get better. What I find funny is that to this day, not a lot of the big companies are really embracing this to the full effect. I mean, quite honestly, I think I do more higher-end live stream production than some of these big networks do, just because they're not embracing a lot of it yet. Now, we are starting to see it. Major League Baseball is broadcasting stuff onto Facebook through Facebook Live. In fact, there was an article about Facebook Live I read earlier that the WWE, the wrestlers, they're going to be doing. They've made a partnership with Facebook to produce a live program that they're going to be doing. The UFC used to do the live streaming stuff on here. They do it on their own platform now, but they used to do it on Facebook. There's a lot of shows that are coming out where they're going to be broadcasting the TV shows on Facebook. So just a lot of different things that are going on. It's a tremendous platform. It's going to keep growing. YouTube Live already growing. They're doing full broadcast production stuff now, and it's just a growing world, and I can't wait to see where it goes over the next couple of years. And we're kind of on the front edge of this right now. We are right on the cusp. We're, if we can keep our stuff going here, we're actually ahead of the curve on some of these giant media companies that aren't even really using this to its full potential yet. So it'll be exciting to see what happens. And that's all I got to say about that.
And now, Mindset Matters.
Yes, and we'll talk today about one thing that a lot of people certainly have issues with, and that is working with other people. Now, I don't know about you, Steve, but working with other people, and I don't mean, the conflicts and things like that, but I mean actually getting the work done, scheduling the work, being able to communicate with each other in a way that makes sense. And so that's why today I want to talk about a tool that I actually use with some of my business partners on some of the projects that we do, and that tool is called Asana. Now, if you're not familiar with Asana, it is exactly that. It is a tool that allows you to work on projects together and to share information, to communicate back and forth, and have everything all in one place. It works very well. It's easy. I believe it's free to get started. So you can jump in and you can start learning how to use it. You can start bringing in team members and really do a great job of communicating with each other and making sure that projects get done on time, that everybody's getting done what needs to be done, and that everybody knows what needs to be done so that they can get their job done. It's Asana. It's a very easy tool to use. Does a great job. So check it out. It's ASANA, Asana. And I believe it's just asana.com, but just search Asana on Google, you'll be able to find it, and we'll put it in the show notes, of course. But it's going to help you be more productive when you're working on projects with other people. So check it out. And with that, we draw ourselves to the close of another episode of Video Marketing Madness.
Biggie. He's Ray, the video guy. Yeah, Ray, the video guy. His skill is where it's at. Even if he's a little fat, he's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need, he stays sharp like a crease in his pants. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing super sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah. Ray the video